Yeah, so I'm gonna start recording now. I got my Symbolic Souls deck, which I'm gonna use for general purposes. And yeah, so tell me a bit about yourself. It helps me to gain a clarity of like who you are, sort of the energy. You asked me about what you are sort of trying to seek in love, like what you should be seeking in love and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. 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 Okay. All right. So let's draw. Uh-huh. Yeah, let's draw an initial card. I like to start off with an initial card, so let's get that going. Um. So what is this energy of? I need to ask a directed question. Because if I don't ask a direct question, sometimes the cards don't come out. What is this? What is the general energy behind love for you? The person I'm speaking to. Eight of Wands. All right. I'm just asking the cards. But, so I see a lot of speed. So this is not this is not really going into anything that's ideal. It's sort of going into just like the energy that's present. Um, do you tend to fall in love easily? You say? Okay. So, if not that, if you're not falling in love easily, it might just be like, well, let me clarify it all. So, what is his energy, please? What is his energy? 'Cause I'm not entirely sure. Five of Cups. Okay, let me tune into this energy. Have you been, I'm just going to ask you a series of questions to get to know you better, right? But have you been like hurt in a relationship that you want to recover from? Let me see. Yeah. Okay, so, or have you, like, I'm just trying to get this energy right because there is a speed of movement and there's a little bit of sorrow, is what I'm sensing right now. There's a little bit of like lostness feeling that you have, and the reason why you want to speed things up, the reason why you might be a little bit like rushed in this, right? Um, let me see. Or maybe it's because you haven't found that one that you really connected to. Um, but like either way, I see this energy of like a lot of speed and rushedness with this kind of feeling of emptiness inside. So it might just be like I don't really know. I can't really get a clear picture yet, minus that. So let me ask you, like, what's important about pursuing a relationship for you? Mm-hmm. What is this energy? I'm sensing an energy. So I think if you are completely just like, oh, I just want a stable partner, and I am fine on waiting on that, and there was no blockage or there's no energy that was sort of like pulling at you, you wouldn't have found a reading unless you were just casually just wondering, right? You might have been casually wondering, but this is an introspective reading, so we go a little bit deeper than just like casual interpretations. So I'm trying to understand if there is a deeper reason why you sought this reading specifically, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. So yeah, I'm like not too clear on this energy right now. I understand you're confused, but like let me see. Okay, so maybe this is not the right deck. Maybe I need to use a different deck because this is more on the mind that I use this deck for. Let me see if I want to change it. No, I'll stick with this one. Let's see where it goes. Maybe I'll be more varied with my decks next time, but okay, so what is this energy that you have? Okay, so you're confused. You don't know what sort of person that you want is best for you. You don't know if you're doing the right thing. What is this energy, please? What is this energy? Because I'm not picking up a very clear energy right now. Let's see. Four of Cups reversed. It takes me a little bit of time before everything starts to click, but let me see. It's like a puzzle for me. So Four of Cups reversed, Eight of Wands, and Five of Cups. I almost see this Eight of Wands as like a vibrant energy too. It's like this desire to have what you want, but like you haven't found it. I think that's sort of like, I feel like that's kind of the feeling I'm getting, is you have these desires of knowing what you want in a person, but the outcome of it, right? So I'm focusing more on the fires now, right? So there's this like in the lines that are, if you watch my video later, you'll see what I'm talking about, because right now my phone is being used, my iPad's being used, I can't really take a picture, but there's like a line that is being crossed. Um And it's almost like this like desire for connection. There's this fire for genuine connection and for authenticity and for someone that you want to be with, right? But I see that the cups has been not fruitful as much. Would you say that resonates with you? Okay, yeah. All right. So there's that juxtaposition, right? Okay, so I think that's what it is. There is this like maybe if not speed, because Weight of Wands does represent speed, but if it not speed, it is about like this connection. That it the line goes from one end to another all across the card as if like it's all connected, and there's fires that are like burning the passion, right? The authenticity, and there's stars, right? There's something brilliant and beautiful about this connection. But in reality, what you're getting is just empty cups. So you're sort of like, and then there's a cat crying, right? So you're sort of just looking at these cups and you're just like, I'm not getting it. I'm confused. Why can't I meet the right person? Is it my fault? Or is it, you know, like am I just not attracting the right people? Because I know what I want so clearly, but I'm not getting it, right? And you have the Four of Cups in reverse. So let's see what this energy is. Four of Cups in reverse. The Hierophant. Okay, so from the Hierophant card, I feel like it might also represent like how it might be your environment, right? It might just be the environment that you're in, that you might not be meeting the right people. It might just be the social group that you're in, that you're not meeting the right people. It might just be the way that you, I think it's like an external thing. And we can go into the internal. I'm not discounting the internal possibilities, but like there might be external factors that are influencing like the authenticity. Like, can you tell me a little bit more about what kind of people sort of you met that were empty cups? Mm-hmm. Okay, so I see that, right. I still feel like there's a fast movement with the Eight of Wands. Like, I still feel that energy that something is fast. Like, I think if you like somebody, I mean, you might not like everybody around you, or they might fall in love really easily. But I feel like the way you develop feelings may be fast before you really get to know that person. Yeah, like I do see that. Like the way you connect with people is fast. And when you like them, right? Obviously if you don't like them then you don't care, but if you like them then you connect them with them really fast, and then you fall into this trap of thinking that they're one person when they're really not, thinking that they're full cups when they're really empty cups, right? They're really deceptive. You said they were narcissistic and all that stuff. And I think if not the environment, it might also be the relationship between Eight of Wands and the Hierophant, and how your fastness attracts people from these groups that take advantage of that, of you falling in love easily, right? And you falling in love like very fast, I guess, easily in that aspect before you really get to dig in, right? Because if someone was to be like very intuitive, I'm not saying you're not intuitive, and we'll go into that. Like we'll talk about, okay, so are you intuitive, or are you like, do you need help with intuition, right? But either way, I think like if there wasn't that Eight of Wands there and you were more cautious and you were more perceptive and you're just like kind of eyeing them as if like, I don't know who you are and I want to get to know you kind of feeling, then you wouldn't like attract as much as these Hierophant energy. I'm not saying the Hierophant energy is a negative energy, but like these groups of people that sort of prey on that, like sort of like love blindness for you. So I think what the Four of Cups is what it's saying is just you just been attracting the wrong kind of people. I do think that you do attract the wrong kind of people. It's not your fault. It's not. I'm not blaming you. I'm not saying, oh, it's all your fault. It's that definitely not that. But just the way that you have dealt with love, I think it can take more precautions to make sure that you get the love that you want. Because a lot of times it's about drawing boundaries. A lot of times it's about going with our intuitions and being perceptive of these people. And sometimes it's really hard because narcissists can really fool someone really well. Like they can really fake an emotion and, you know, like make someone believe in something that is not true. So you know, it's just about developing your intuition, in my opinion, to be more aware of these stuff and just get a feeling of like, I feel like nothing that he tells me about himself, or like he tells me anything about his personal life, or blah 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 blah, right? So let's get into that. Okay, so any energies of Eight of Wands, any messages for that? It's a Tower. All right. Let me see. Is this all resonating with you so far? Okay, gotcha. All right. And you got the Tower under the Eight of Wands. Let me see. I feel like you have the intuition is what it's saying to me. Again, that might not be true. But I feel like you do, but you're almost like what the first intuition, right? Not the first intuition that I get may not always be correct, but this is the feeling I get, and I'll say it to you and see if it resonates with you. But then I feel like you're almost afraid of not falling in love, like not doubting somebody and being like, are you really a good person if you really like them? Because it's kind of like in your head you might be thinking, and this is just like a assumption that I'm making, right? You can tell me if it resonates or not, but in your head you might be thinking like, oh, why am I like being cautious around someone that I'm attracted to, or I kind of love, right? Like you might just kind of put yourself wholeheartedly there instead of like kind of being like stepping back and being like, okay, so can I really trust this person? Who really is this person, right? So would you resonate with that? What are the other situations where it wouldn't resonate? Mm-hmm. 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 Okay. Let me see. So would you say there is this element of fear of you feel like if you don't show them enough interest in them, you might lose them based on your experiences? Okay. Yeah. That's what the tar. Uh-huh. You're scared from both sides. Okay. So, yeah, I see these two. And thanks for clarifying that. I see these two figures, right? You're scared of not giving enough, not even when you're connected, you're not feeling like you're being perceived as showing enough affection. At the same time, you're afraid of giving too much. But I feel like that's before you really fall in love, I think. Like with when it comes to not giving enough. That's the feeling I'm getting. Like you're scared of, yeah, like, because if you're really falling in love, this is kind of like where my mind's going. If you're really feeling in love, I think you would want to show them that you care, right? You wouldn't be like, oh, I don't want to care too much so that, unless that's your psychology, right? I'm trying to get to know you better. Like, unless that's your psychology that, like, oh, if you feel like you give them too much, then somehow they're gonna leave you. Okay, so it's both sides. Okay, so you have this feeling of you can't show too little or you can't show too much. So it's always this sort of like tower moment. Okay, gotcha. All right, let me see. Um. Okay, I'm just gonna say, what is the message here that I need to know? Because I'm sort of like, there's just so many different factors that I'm just like, I just need to know. What general message do you need to know, please? Death. It's a constant new beginning, a new cycle of, yeah, that's kind of what, that's why I was feeling like very stuck in this energy, is because I feel like with every relationship, you kind of learn to do things that confuse you, right? It's not a clear direction. This is the feeling I'm getting. There's not a clear direction of like you learn it and then you're like you get to know yourself better and you're just like, okay, so this is me, this is what I want to do, and this is the path that I want to move forward. And with every relationship, it adds to that that milestone or that road. It's kind of like with every relationship, it's the opposite. With every relationship, you're like, I shouldn't do this. And that another relationship happens, is like, I shouldn't do this. And then another relationship happens and I shouldn't do this, right? But not in a way where it kind of gives you clarity. I think that's why your main number one vocabulary when you came to me is you're confused, right? It's because with all these relationships, they're just adding to all the things that kind of like give you some sort of like a manual of how to behave that's not really coming from you, right? Sorry, what'd you say? Yeah. So it's here's where it gets very confusing, right? There's so many, like I said, there's so many different elements in this and at play here, and I'm just like trying to keep track of all of them. And it's because there's like with every instance of your relationship, you're just getting a different manual. It's like, oh, I got this new manual that like you're supposed to behave like this. I got a new manual that you're supposed to behave like this. I got a new manual that you're supposed to behave like this, and it just adds on and on and on, and it just doesn't give you any sort of clarity at this moment. It just gives you more restrictions, if anything, in navigating your relationships. And I think that's where you feel confused. Okay, so now that we got that part established, what is the message? The moon reversed. All right, let me tune into this. You know, my readings are very specific to that person's experience, but it always comes back to the core message, right? It's just the way to get to the core message is different for everybody, and that journey is important. But the thing is, you have to sort of let go of the chains that bind you, you know, like, but learn from the lesson. So it's two things, right? You need to let go of the chains that bind you. All the manuals, there's no manuals, right? There are no such thing as manuals. You're trying to cater to everyone that you have met, but that's not the right answer. It's like if something fell out, you try to cater it to yourself. Like, what did I want to do that I didn't do? What did I want that I didn't see in the other person? What did I what was going on? And the reason why you don't have those answers is probably because you were confused, right? You were like, this person is acting in this way, this person is distant all of a sudden, and then you were trying to figure out logically why. And in the process of doing so, you were thinking of, in that person's perspective, a manual. You're creating a manual for yourself. But the thing is, it's just like, just being like a kind of like be more like not objective, but like clear as to like perceiving it with clear eyes. It's like, okay, so what did I do? And then, go back to your emotions, right? So it's like, well, I wasn't comfortable at the time, or I wasn't ready at the time to show my emotions. Like maybe I didn't like him as much, but after time I did. And at that point, he lost his feelings for me, right? That's just a timing difference. It's not that you did anything wrong. It's just that at the time, that's what happened. You guys just timing didn't align. And if you had that self-awareness, you would have, not you would have, but like you can understand that about yourself and be like, I didn't do anything wrong. It's not like I need to speed up my emotions and show them faster for the other person to stay with me. At the same time, it's just like, you know what? It just didn't work out. The timing didn't work out, right? Love is all about timing. And it's just the time that they were interested in me and the time that I got to be interested in them just didn't work out. And that's it, right? And I am not, and this is how you can tell yourself, it's like, I'm not going to force myself to love somebody any faster than how I naturally fall in love, right? It's going to take me time if that's how it's be, right? Does that make sense, what I'm saying? Yeah. So, at the same, so this is the foregoing the manual, right? It's like, don't cater it to the other person because you're gonna lose yourself in the process. You're just gonna get confused. With every relationship you meet, if you cater it to every single person, outside of you, you're gonna lose your own direction, your own path. So you just have to be very clear about what happened, right? And just be like, you know what? I wasn't comfortable at that time. I wasn't feeling that at the time. So, that's it, right? And that's not something I'm gonna forego because I don't want to sacrifice my comfort to just for someone to stay, right? If they if it was meant to be, and it's a sort of an acceptance as well. It's like if they were meant to be, then they would have stayed. Not because like it's their fault either for losing feelings, but it's just like if it was meant to be, then it would have worked out in the right time, right? It's no one's fault. At the same time, right, you fell in for the narcissist, right? And that one you can learn the lesson, right? But not to cater to the narcissist and be like, whatever, but like just be like, hey, maybe I didn't pick up the signs because I was blind in love, right? Maybe this is something that I need to watch out more for. Maybe like next time I can be more intuitive. I can be more, just curious about like what the other person is like and see from the deep depth within my heart if I can trust them or not. Because probably there were some informations that if you tune into your intuition, they would have told you. I feel they would have told you that something was off. Or like if you were curious about it enough to ask them, right? Like if you were like, okay, so who really is this person? Instead of like them telling you all these stories, like it's like, okay, so do I really know what this person is like? Do I really feel that in my body, right? So there's probably informations that you could have gathered that you were just blinded with love, and that's okay. It happens, right? You learn from the lesson and you improve next time with what is best for you. But I think that's the direction that you have to take this in, is that you can't grasp at every love that happens, because some loves do fade away or some loves do not work out, and that's okay. It's nothing wrong on you. It's nothing wrong, I mean, if unless they're narcissists, but like it's nothing really wrong on them either. It's just the way it works. And I think that's a general message. Is everything I'm saying like resonating with you so far? Okay, awesome. All right, so now we're gonna go into like now we're gonna go into, okay, so how do you find the right person, right? So now the before it was just like, okay, so how do you be yourself in love, right? How do you gain yourself back in love? And we cover that in depth. So the next question is, how do you actually find love? If the cards say it. Again, what I do with the cards is they're not going to tell you what you want to hear. They're going to tell you what you need to hear. That's my belief. So sometimes it might not give you the clearest answer. It's not going to be like, oh, in this like 6 months, you're going to find this guy that's just going to revolutionize your life. Like, it's not going to tell you what you want to hear. It's what you need to hear. At least for my readings, it works like that. Anyways, let's see. So Queen of Cups reversed. I'm going to draw one more card. All right, Temperance. Okay. I feel like you have to be a little bit more objective in love. Like, just be more... Again, this is not advice for everybody, because some people are too objective in love. They need to be the opposite way. But I feel for you, you need to be more objective in love, in my opinion. Just be like, okay, I like this person, but then what? Right? Like, then who is this person? And then you start like analyzing that, right? Who is this person? What does this person do? Not in terms of career. I'm not saying like filter people out based on career, but like what is this person? What are their actions like? Like, how are they treating me? How are they responding to me? Like, what are their feelings and what am I feeling? What are my intentions towards them? Right? So you're a little bit more objective in love. It's the opposite of Queen of Cups because it's in reverse. It's like you're a little bit more above your emotions of that fluttering feeling of being in love or being loved, and just being like, okay, so what does this mean for me when you meet this person? I think you need that in the beginning, and then once that becomes more like automatic or natural, then you can start letting go and just kind of let your intuition take you over. But right now, like, because like, you connect fast when it comes to love. Like, you really want to be loved and love. So I think you need to sort of slow down and be like, hey, so let me get a little bit more objective. Let me actually start to think about what's going on here, right? And I think that's gonna ward off a lot of people that are empty cups, is what I'm saying. Because like, if you feel attracted to somebody, or if you have vaguely like somebody and develop feelings later, and then you try to keep every cup that is empty, it's just gonna be, you're gonna keep on collecting people that it's not good for you. So I think you have to be a little bit more objective when it comes to love. At the same time, there's a temperance, and I'm trying to think of temperance. Okay, so this to me feels like you need to know what you really want, right? And that was a question that you came to me, is what do I really desire in love? And that's something you have to figure out. It's like, what are the qualities of people that you want to be with, right? What are their behaviors like? What are their personalities like? What are their vibe and the feelings that they make you feel like, right? So instead of falling in love really fast, and just accepting everything, it's just like, oh, I feel in love, so I'm gonna just be in this presence of love for the sake of love. Like, you're more like, okay, so is this what I really want? Because I'm familiar with what I've set for myself in what I'm looking for. Then you become objective, right? Like, and then this person, are they fulfilling what I want them to fulfill? Right? Not in an egotistical way, but in a way where it's like, I'm not going to waste any more time with empty cups and just with people that are empty, that are going to just leave me because of whatever reasons, right? They're going to hurt me anymore. So I'm just going to set a standard for myself so that I don't waste my time and energy with people that are not who I really am looking for, right? So, any questions about that? Anything I said? It's both. So it's like you have to figure out what you want for yourself when it comes to love. So it's both. It's figuring yourself out and figuring out what you want in love. Like, and what that means is like, how does the other person make you feel, right? What do you like about behaviors of somebody else in a way that it solidifies the values that you treasure, right? So if it's like, oh, like, I learned from this experience that like I value someone who is honest, right? I don't want a narcissist. I don't want like someone who's manipulative, who lies. I want someone who's honest. And then like kind of look back into yourself now and think about like, well, what does honesty mean to me? What are the people who were honest made me feel like, right? So it's kind of growing your intuition in that way, where it helps you decipher what you really want so that you can look with your objective mind to see what's going on instead of just being like going with the flow of love. Does that make sense? If you have any questions, by the way, you can ask anytime. But yeah, so what's your question based on what I said? Because I feel like I've covered like, okay, so this is sort of like the background of what was going on. And then we covered like how you can stop, catering to other people, and then start, catering to yourself and developing your path to love and not someone else's manual. And then we talked about like how you can approach love in a way where you filter out the empty cups. But anything else that you want to talk about? Any other questions? I can try, but like ultimately you have to find out for yourself. But I'll try I'll try to see what's best for you. In general, Nine of Wands reversed. I think you might want someone who values love. That's a very broad and general sense, but that is a direction, right? You want someone who values love, the feeling of love, not the high of love, right? Not like the adrenaline of love, but someone who just values genuine love, like, and says like, yeah, like, this is really important to me. This connection beyond just the fluttering feelings of the beginning is really important to me. And they might be someone who knows that because they went through a lot of experiences of something like you, where like they've gone through a lot of empty relationships themselves, and they had to really figure out within all the fake sticks which one is the best stick. And those people might be hard to find, but like when you actually know what to look and you manifest that, I don't mean manifest in terms of like, oh my God, when I get this perfect guy, but like, just like when you set the world with an intention in your mind, amazing things will happen. That's my belief. That amazing things will happen if you know what to look for and if you set that intention. And I think what's best for you is someone who knows how to value genuine love. Yeah. So, any other questions? All right, awesome. Well, Oh, no problem. I'm happy to help. I'm glad that we were able to cover a lot of topics and get to a place where you feel comfortable. And yeah, so you can reach out to me whenever. I would say that I'm gonna try to. Oh, and then you can, like look at the videos. I'll send you the link to this video so that like you can. I mean, it doesn't have your voice in it, but you can sort of rewatch it anytime you want. And yeah, so generally, I would the system that I'm thinking of doing is like doing a lot of general readings that I'm posting on YouTube, that I will occasionally post on Reddit as well. And then I will probably, unless I specifically say, oh, I'm doing self-introspective reading again, I'm probably going to focus on doing the general readings and see how people resonate with those general readings, and then do an extension reading based on the messages that they got from the general, just because that is a lot more like fluid to read. This is more of a time investment thing. So for these sort of like very personalized, specific questions, I would, very specific, in-depth, introspective questions, I would probably charge or do a service-based thing. But I will do like general readings where like I'll post a bunch of different topics, and then whoever resonates with that can say like, hey, can I get an extension reading from this one general reading that I saw, like the video, and then I would gladly do that, no charge, like, because, I love extending the conversation of the messages that I have given in a general reading. But again, if I post on Reddit saying like, hey, I'm offering like self-introspective reading, then obviously they're for free. Then you can also, you know, hit me up whenever. And yeah, so it's just, I'm just trying to like, you know, like be compensated for my time, you know, like, because I used to like talk to people for hours on end for free, but then, you know, I'm just like, you know what, I want to make a business out of this. I want to make some sort of like a side gig out of this. So if that makes sense. Yeah, so like, so again, I'm gonna be posting regularly on Reddit. So if you see me, like, and any posting I do on Reddit is for free. If you just reach out to me for a very specific problem, then that might be of charge. But anything I post on Reddit is for free. So if you see me on Reddit, you know, just hit me up again if you want a reading from me again. And yeah, that's it. So I'm gonna end the video now.